It works! Welcome to the first ever episode of River Road Hockey on video. We really don't know what we're going to call it yet. I'm just winging it. So something new in the 2014 season is all of the players that the Melbourne Ice have got with them at the moment. We've got Gustav Huth. Gustav comes from Sweden. He's played Division 2 with a team called the Ladingo Vikings. Another one of our imports is Tim Johansson. He's another Swede. He seems like a pretty big guy. He's listed at 189 centimetres, but he just seems taller than that on the ice. Another player that we've got this year is goalie Rick Ashton. The last team he played for was the Flintshire Freeze. They're an English second-tier league. They're still a national league, but they've got sort of a second tier to it. I guess you can call Ross Howell a returnee. He used to play for the Ice in the early 2000s. He also used to play for Australia then as well. He played for the Blue Tongues from 2006 through to 2012 and was even given the captaincy in 2011. And he's been given the A as he's returned to the Ice. Another kind of familiar face is Scott Corbett. He played for the Ice back in 2008, and he was also the assistant captain for the Mustangs in the 2011 season. Another somewhat familiar face is going to be Sean Hamilton. He played over in Perth last year, was in 12 games. For the couple of seasons before that, he's been playing in the WASL, playing for the Northern Vikings. Now, there are two young guys coming into the team. I use the phrase young kind of loosely because it seems about half the roster is either 22 years old or younger. So both Rob Clark and Sonny Bell fall into that category. Sonny is 22 years old, Rob is 19. And finally, most likely our biggest signing of the off-season, both literally and figuratively, Jeff Smith has come over from Saskatchewan to come play for us. At 198 centimetres and 102 kilos, he is instantly one of the biggest guys in the league. I understand that being a Saskatchewan, his hobbies are wrestling bulls and eating steak, although that may not be true. Just going through the list of leagues that he's played for the WHL, the ECHL, the AHL, the EIHL, and he's played in the Dutch League as well. He captained Baxi at the Dutch League in 2009-2010. He also played with Matt Courthouse and John Gordon for HYS The Hague in 2011-2012. Now, with all of these new players, we are going to have to say goodbye to a couple of players. We've lost a couple of goalies in Dalen Phillips and Andrew Crowther. Our two imports, Chris Frank and John Gordon, have moved on. Chris has gone to the Brayhead clan in the EIHL, and John's gone to EV Fussen in Germany. Glenn Mayer, who had a short-lived retirement and came back last year to play, has moved behind the bench. He's now an assistant coach. Other players that haven't returned are Caleb Butler, Andrew Erzen, Dylan Moore, Mike Thorburn, and Vinny and Joey Hughes. So, with all of these players coming in and out of the team, how has the Ice actually changed? They've gotten nominally taller. It's only increased by 1.2 centimetres. We've got slightly heavier by an even less negligible 10 grams. We have gotten a little bit older. The roster this year is on average 6 months older than last year's roster. If you have a look at those older players like Corbett, Howe, Greg Sturrock, Jeff Smith, they do bring a world of experience into the team, so hopefully they can impart a lot of that knowledge onto that young crew. And of course, we've got our core players coming back, like Jason Backlig, Matt Armstrong, Liam Webster, who's picking up the captaincy again. And I've got to give a special mention to Tommy Powell. I've seen 2 practice games so far, and he's got 10 points in 2 games. Now, that's just unbelievable, and it's not going to be sustainable, but he has certainly got his eye in, that's for sure. And so now, to the big question that everybody wants answered. How are the Ice going to do in 2014? It's really difficult to say. The team itself looks really promising, but that's only looking at the Ice. The big question is, how are they going to do against everybody else? If you have a look around the league, the top 5 teams from 2013 are all missing their number 1 goalie coming into this season. So you've got the top 5 teams with essentially no number 1 goalie. We know that Adelaide had a really poor 2013 by their standards, so I'm expecting them to push through again. We know that Perth did really, really well in their second season, and I'm sure they'd love to be able to repeat or go even better in this year. Mustangs did really well last year. They improved the heat, and it's only going to take a couple more wins, and they're going to be in the playoffs this year. So as you can see, it's not just the Ice that have changed. There's a lot of teams around the league that are making a lot of changes to try to find that magic formula that's going to make them good. One thing's for sure, this is probably one of the most open fields that we've seen in the AIHL for a couple of years now, and I can't wait to see what the teams have got to produce.